Amie Potsic, and welcome to Art Watch on WCHE 95.3 FM, 1520 AM, and online at 953wche.com every Wednesday from 1 to 1:30. We bring you in-depth and behind-the-scenes interviews with artists and creative leaders shaping the local art scene to the international art world. I'm an artist, author, curator, and CEO of Amie Potsic Art Advisory. As an art advisor, I support collectors, artists, and institutions on curatorial projects, legacy planning, and AI. Thanks so much for joining us today on Art Watch. Today we're speaking with artists and curators Vicki, Vinton, and Constance McBride about their exhibition on view through January 16th at their new art space, The Hook Experiment in Oxford, Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for being here, Vicki and Constance.
Thank you for having us, Amie.
Great. I'm so glad to have a chance to speak to both of you. Let me introduce my guest. Vicki Vinton is an American painter and sculptor living and working in rural Pennsylvania. Vinton began her undergraduate work at the University of Denver, where she majored in art and philosophy. She continued her studies at the Philadelphia Academy of Fine Arts. In 1985, she was selected as one of the first residents of the Vermont Studio School and later entered a 20-year career in the decorative arts industry. Vinton returned to the studio in 2009, where the unique quality of her work blends a knowledge of art history and the fine arts with a vast array of technical skills learned from the applied arts. Vinton began curating in 2023 when the Hook building was stripped of its former office bones and offered an empty shell no artist could refuse. And Constance McBride draws attention to gender-based issues using ceramic sculpture, installations, and mixed media collage. Her work has appeared in solo and group shows around the country, including at Phoenix Art Museum, the Delaware Contemporary, the Woodmere Art Museum, and Archie Bray Foundation for Ceramic Arts. Recent awards include the J.M. Dowling Award for Sculpture and a grant from the Puffin Foundation. McBride has curated group exhibitions for several galleries in Arizona, for the Art Trust in Chester County Art Center in Westchester, and most recently for the Hook Experiment in Oxford. McBride serves as a board member for the Hook Experiment and teaches at the Center for Creative Arts in Yorkland, Delaware. Ladies, my goodness, quite the backgrounds you both have. I'm thrilled to talk to you about it. As I was saying, I'm so excited that you have opened this new art space in the area. With your capacity to have innovative exhibitions and programming, it's a wonderful addition to the artistic landscape in Philadelphia area, which, as you know, is much needed, much appreciated. I wanted to hear about your involvement with the Hook Experiment, its origins, and how the arts can thrive in such a space. So, Vicki, you have a fascinating background that spans philosophy, fine art, and a 20-year career in the decorative arts. How have these experiences shaped the artist you are today and your curatorial vision for this new organization, the Hook Experiment?
I think they're all life experiences, and I think as an artist of our maturity, that everything you've done in your life has somehow impressed you with the work you do today. Mm-hmm. So I would say philosophy, working with the general public and decorators in the decorative arts, was a way to really hone process and how you put yourself out there professionally. And I think being an artist in general has given me the sensitivity to start an art organization that is run by artists and put out there so that artists can show them their best selves.
Right.
All those things together.
That's a great point because, you know, you understand the role of the artist, but when you work in the decorative arts and applied arts in general, you have to get your work out publicly and communicate with it in a very different way than a fine artist. So now you have the benefit of both of those things. Do you feel the same way,
yes.
Constance?
Oh, yes. I mean, my background is so varied as well. And actually, a lot in business world before I even got back to my art. And that has helped me tremendously working in the arts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank goodness there's a business mind involved in your organization. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, Vicki, I'm curious what you saw or felt when you first stepped into the raw 4,500 square foot Hook building. That's massive. that made you say, we have to do something here? Can you describe the physical space, the exposed brick and worn floors and hidden rooms, and the storied history of the building? I mean, how do these elements inform the artwork that you're showing there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the building right now, and maybe you can hear a bit of the echo.
A little bit.
It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And it was screaming for artists to create in. It's raw. It's got a huge history in Oxford. It started out as a Sears and Roebuck catalog company where I believe people would come in with their green stamps and take home a toaster.
Wow.
So
perfect.
It's been here forever. After that, it was the home of Outback Trading with a warehouse in the back for their inventory and offices up front. And then Outback moved about 2 miles out of town, and they gutted the building, took down all the cubicles, and we were left with an absolutely bare space, 12-foot ceilings, wooden floors, beautiful peaked ceiling in the back. You just couldn't walk in here. People that aren't artists walk in here and just say, wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's beautiful for performance. It's beautiful for acoustics, and especially beautiful for artists and installation artists.
Right. So does it afford you these really large spaces where artists have a lot of space to create in?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's something really spiritual about this building. I think everybody feels it when they walk in. I don't know if the hooks are still here, cheering it on, but things just seem to work. There's a place like Constance could speak to this. She's done a couple of beautiful installation pieces. The place just seems to work.
Yep. It's true, Vicki. It just made me think of that when you invited me to a show 2 years ago when I got turned on to the Hook. What I first want to say is how fearless Vicki is in terms of do what you want. This is a good space. Take over this space.
Oh, great.
Do what you want.
That's wonderful.
And it lends itself to that. You can do a lot in there. Mm-hmm. And so that's really important for installation artists.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
very hard to find the right kind of space, larger scale, higher ceilings, floors that you're not afraid to have that damaged.
Right.
You're not afraid to do this or that, and that's a blessing for installation artists.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
And it sounds like the vibe there is really positive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that you think the Hook family, the original owners, Vicki?
I believe they were. I haven't gone back any further than that, but I think they were the original owners.
Interesting. So these other iterations you described were after they owned it.
Yep.
Interesting.
They sold the building to Wilson King, where he put Outback in.
Oh,
in town for probably 20 years.
Wow. That's amazing. I feel like there's some really great buildings in Philadelphia that have sort of histories like that, like the Globe Dye Works,
right,
or the Icebox Project space, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that were former industrial spaces,
right?
Yeah, and it just what you can do in those spaces is wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that you're doing this.
Can I make one other point about that? Many people have come in to see the show, and we've had nonstop.
I'm sure.
The opening was packed, but every day since, we've been sitting in the gallery Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and we've had people every single day. That is a key point, the Globe Dye Works.
Really?
Icebox. There's no space like this in Chester County. And in fact, not even in the Philadelphia area, with the exception of maybe a couple more, like you mentioned.
That's interesting.
Fascinating.
So it's really filling a need in that area.
Correct.
Oh, that's great, because that's what I was going to ask, which is sort of what role the community, Chester County and Oxford, play in shaping your programming and what your organization sort of brings to the artistic dialogue in the contemporary art in our area, which is extremely strong, right? You said the Hook encourages artists to show experimental and unfinished work. So why is that freedom being explored in your gallery so important to you guys?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, start with that, Vicki. Yeah, please.
I think being artists ourselves, we have a lot of work that is complete and we show and we're confident to show, and maybe if we have a gallery that sells our work, we give them completed work. But there's also a side of us that has work that we're experimenting with, might not be finished, we might want to get reactions from the public. about what they're feeling, how they react to it. And this is a safe space to do it. I mean, pieces can come in unframed. They can come in, unfinished according to an artist, but for most people that would look at it, it would be finished.
Right.
So it's just a place for, artists to be able to feel comfortable showing their work. And I would like to say that there's something about this building and how it has been set up and the people that have been involved, that there's been so many yeses. There's been so many, yes, you can do that. And almost everybody we've invited to show has said, yes, I'd love to show.
Oh, exactly. You accept everybody. You're the first yes. Yes, you can do this here. Right. And then they are, oh my gosh, this is the best space I've had in a long time to show something like this.
Interesting.
Because you can't always find it. Well, Amie knows this as well.
Yeah,
as an
I'm an installation
artist.
artist too, and it is very hard to find large scale.
I'm trying to hang things from ceilings.
Absolutely, it's few and far between. And the other thing that's few and far between is having curators who really give you full reign. I, as a curator, also myself, that's how I like to work with artists, is you pick the artist knowing that they're amazing.
Who they are. Yes.
And then you say, go for it. Like, do your best stuff that you want to do. And they always come up with something better than you would even imagine, I find. But a lot of curators actually really only want to show work they've seen before, that they can count on.
Tried and true.
And I just don't feel like that at all. I feel like if you're going to give someone a space, like you pick them for their talent and their ingenuity and their innovativeness, and then let them go to town.
And that's what's happening at the Hook.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Happening.
That's amazing. And even I what I want to advocate for too, just as a curator, something I always did with my artists when we would do big shows and installs, I would always feed everybody. Because have coffee there, like coffee and donuts, and like have a meal together, like have lunch, like order sandwiches or order pizza or whatever. Because not only like everybody's starving, they were up all night the night before getting ready for the install, right? So they're tired and starving. And then it gives all the artists time to sit and talk to each other and share over food. Which is such a community building activity. And it was so funny. So many times people would be like, this was like the best exhibition experience I've ever had. And it was because usually you get treated like totally expendable as an artist. You're like, come in, put your stuff up, get out, don't let the door hit you on the way out, kind of stuff. So I'm glad you guys are extending that kind of experience to people,
Yeah.
Well, it's also the experience that we want to have. And I think between Lisa, Constance, and myself, we're at a point in our lives where we want to be around artists and we want to hear what they have to say and we want to promote.
Exactly.
So it's come at a good time and it's being accepted, and people are crying out for it. They're like, this is what we need. This is what our community needs. So it's been very exciting.
That's awesome. Also, I think what you're speaking to as well is so often in the art world, we're in a situation of perceived competition, which it isn't. There's this scarcity mindset that like there's not enough for everybody, there's not enough space, there's not enough goodwill, and that's just not true. It's all how you handle it. And, you're at times in your careers where you're like, I want to be generous with my time and these experiences. And because it elevates everybody. It elevates the art. It elevates the curatorial vision. It elevates the audience that you have too. I think that's super refreshing because I think like we've been in a period of the art world, for a couple hundred years.
I mean, you're really speaking to what we're trying to do. It's very inviting. Yeah. We just want to invite and create a place that's safe for our artists to create and just be. And, we're promoting them. We're promoting them as their images. It's not necessarily all for sales, but just promoting artists for the sake of artists and the difference that they make, the emotional ideas they bring to us.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Well, thanks so much, Vicki. I want to hear more about the Hook experiment after the break, and stay with us. We'll be right back with more Art Watch. Welcome back to Art Watch. I'm Amie Potsic, and we're talking with artists and curators Vicki Vinton and Constance McBride about their current exhibition at The Hook Experiment on view through January 16th, when the closing reception will take place from 5 to 8 p.m. So, Constance, the title, A Scrutiny Mutiny, is really compelling. I love it. How did this concept emerge in co-curating the show with Lisa Baird and Vicki? And in what ways do the 52 artists and 5 invited installation artists examine topics like surveillance, internal rebellion, and collective liberation?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks. Giving that to me.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. Well, it was interesting. We think it's about 6 months ago. It just seems like a while ago. We got together for lunch. We brought another artist friend who everybody admires and respects, and we sat around bouncing these ideas. And that name came up. And when we Googled it, it just seemed to fit the times we're in right now, first of all, and how everybody's feeling about the times we're in and the challenges that we're facing, in every aspect. But in the artist world, it's as tough as it always is, as you said earlier.
Absolutely.
So that just it hit with all of us and said, all right, that's the name. I remember Vicki freaking out. Yes, that's it.
It feels so good when you hit on the name, doesn't it?
It's kind of cool. So then we had to figure out, okay, well, now what do we mean by this? Because that's so broad. I mean, and some people have no idea what we're talking about. But so we went through that idea and then just kind of gave some parameters. Well, before I talk about that, because of the large space, we figured, well, let's set some parameters for this open call, and we came up with the idea of 10 by 10s. If we're going to have 10 by 10s, we wanted to, have a kind of a uniform look in some respect with the broad interpretation. So we would get such a variety, and that's exactly what happened. But because the space was so large, we thought, let's see if we can also add some installation, because it's calling for installation all the time. So we went around and we all gave in some names, and we decided on 5 artists that would do these installations. And so every one of them said yes with no hesitation, because they weren't even there on person. They were just looking online at images we sent them of the gallery. Yeah. And everybody jumped at the chance.
Yeah, I can do something cool there.
Right. Yeah. Right, exactly. And then with the 10 by 10s, we sent it out. We went to our normal organizations like in Liquid, and I think SIVA might have gotten it.
Posting the open call.
Posting the open call. We sent it out there. We did it on social media a lot, and we got we got responses. Oh, good. And we got quite a few. Oh, so good. We ended up with 52, and
that's great.
It was a good idea because we did get a lot of interpretations of this, because you could look at it with surveillance that's been going on. I mean, that's been a longer term thing than just the last couple of years. It's been for a while now. Yeah. And so a lot of people could hit on that. Personal bodies under scrutiny.
Oh, absolutely.
Self-scrutiny, or the male gaze, that whole story that we've been living with forever as well. Right. And then just that internal, imposter syndrome. And that hits all of us at some point in life. Are we able to really do what we can? Are we really what we say we are, and all that? Right. So there's all that, and then the historical scrutiny, historical and political, of course.
Right. It fits pretty much everything going on right now.
It does, and I mean, we'll have to send you some more images.
Yeah, I was
the 10
very
by 10s.
impressed with the work you sent me. And, the space itself looks absolutely just wonderful. Really like raw in a cool way, not in a sometimes spaces are so raw that it's like almost dangerous to be in them. It doesn't look like that, because I've shown in places like that over the years too. But no, and then the artwork you sent just is awesome.
Vicki can talk to how it looked before the show, though, because there were a couple of changes that had to be made. But it got cleaned up. It all got cleaned up
or anything like that.
Right.
Well, so the show includes, as you were saying, 5 installation artists as well, whose work addresses also some urgent issues in our culture, such as the legacy of slavery, voyeurism, systems of power. So, Constance and Vicki both, since Vicki, you're in the gallery too, tell us about the artists and their installations that they created for this show.
You want me to start with that, Constance?
Yeah, go for it, Vicki.
Okay. Right now I'm sitting in front of Maria Manos's piece, and it's called Under the Microscope, and it is probably, 4 by 12? It's 2 huge whiteboards that she has covered with slides, microscopic slides, and to make this incredibly impactful piece, it speaks to her experience with addiction, and I can't tell you how many people have stood in front of this and just, almost wept.
Wow.
It is so touching, and it's touching because these are her excerpts from a diary she kept while she was, going through some addiction in her family and in her world, and it's just stunning. I mean, back to installation artists, it took her over 30 hours to put this piece together, and it is slide by slide. It's really worth seeing and reading if you can.
Wow, that's great.
And then just to go down to the other end of the gallery, there's another piece that involves a public telephone, and it's done by Lisa Marie Patzer, which maybe you've talked to before, and it's called A Reasonable Expectation of Privacy, and it's based on, a court case of a bookie trying to place bets on a public phone and what ended up happening with that Supreme Court case.
Oh, interesting.
I'll go on really quickly. There's another one, the next one in the second room, it's about flight, and it's about 14 slaves that escaped from Poolesville, Maryland, a plantation on Poolesville, Maryland, and it's incredibly beautifully done and impactful. And then the middle one is Emilio Maldonado, and it's called 0 to 100, and it gets so many people love it. It's filled with everything that you might find in your closet. And to me, it's about things that you keep taking with you, and whether it's emotional or physical, whatever it is, and it's on this wall, and it's overwhelming. Everybody goes, oh, my God, I've got a closet at home that looks like this. People
it's literally like a closet, floor to ceiling, with every single piece, almost like a painting.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
The image of that just looks really amazing. And with the little piece of furniture in front of it, I think it's just wonderful for context.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's actually got a piece like this that's twice as big that he's shown at the Philadelphia airport. He actually puts a bed in front of it. It's so big.
Oh, fantastic. Like in one of the cases?
Yeah, in one of the cases.
That's a perfect case.
I know.
That's great. That's great.
And then who? Oh, and then we had Mayrov. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to speak to this, Constance?
Oh, Mayrov. Well, this piece is as well. She calls it the Grief Temple, and she is a fiber artist, and she loomed these large-scale panels. Did we give you an image of that?
Beautiful.
We have to give you an image of that, too.
I don't think I saw that.
Hung and around in a circle. So from the ceiling to the floor, and kind of draping on the floor. Various sizes and in various like disarray. Some are finished, some are not finished, some are just started. It's kind of this, I don't know, can't think of the word right now, but, and then she has a carpet underneath with pillows where you can come in and
kind of
grieve.
Be inside it. Yeah.
It's a grief temple.
Oh, exactly.
And it came to her after something to do with her mother, and I don't have it in front of me. Vicki, if you have it in front of you, it was something to do with her mom and grieving. And she also came up with a project. And she actually, I know you have a question about workshops later on.
Yeah, well, Vicki and I had been discussing about the idea of having programming in the future at the Hook Experiment that is, of visual art workshops and things like that, but also things you might not expect in an art space, like a grief circle or things like that, right, Vicki?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Mayrov is putting one on in the beginning of January, if anybody's interested.
Is that during the show?
I think so. The show, and it's going to be within the grief circle. The grief circle, it's a really another powerful piece. And I mean, people have come to it, explain what it's about. They create a grief stone, and tears come out of their eyes. It's just something that touches everybody.
Yeah, we started with these we got little balls of clay for her, and when people come in, they just grab one. And as they're working with the clay, they're just kind of pushing it in, but they're thinking about someone who they lost. Okay. A loved one that they lost. And then they leave it on a little platter. Oh. And now we have this pile
that's awesome.
of these grief stones. And so one of her ideas for this is at the end, when all this is piled up, she will take it out and release it back into the earth. I mean, it's just a beautiful story.
That's amazing.
This is something like,
right, because they're not fired or anything.
No,
they're
won't be fired.
Like,
they're just
add water and they
right
become
back.
Soil again in a way.
Exactly.
Dirt. Wow.
Exactly. So I think that's what her workshop will be. Correct, Vicki? Is making them.
Yeah, it'll be maybe a 90-minute grief circle, and then also making the stones.
And making the stones.
Wow, that sounds really powerful. And what other kinds of programming are on the horizon, Vicki? What do you see as the future for the space?
Well, we do have a sound symphony coming on the 20th of this month, and it's got aspects of a sound bath and a little bit more. So awesome. Check out our Instagram and our website for that one. And for the future, I don't know. We feel it's just we want arts of all kinds, and we are just strapped in for the ride to see what artists come up with, what organizers come up with, to use this space in a really human growth development between people and artists type space. So we'll see.
We'll be planning. We'll be planning.
Yeah. Sounds like a real gift to your community, but also just to the arts in the Philadelphia area. So I think that's wonderful. Thank you both so much for joining me today to tell me about it.
Thank you for having us, Amy. It's been wonderful to be able to talk about this.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm so glad to have you both. So to learn more about the Hook experiment and the current exhibition now on view through January 16th, when the closing reception will take place from 5 to 8 p.m., go to hookexperiment.org and/or at hookexperiment on Instagram. Join us Wednesdays on Art Watch from 1 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern on WCHE 95.3 FM and 1520 AM. Recent podcasts of Art Watch can be found on 953wche.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also find the podcast for this episode and more information on my guest at amiepotsicartadvisory.com. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.